Called order at.
Way to go.
Yeah.
I surrender.
Heard around the world. We're going to gavel this meeting in at 5:03 on the evening of Wednesday, August 10th, and call it to order and start it out. Let's see, looks like we've got, sorry, still terrible with names. Scott, Jan, myself, Dan. We have Eileen and Dawn, and DA should be here a little later, but our friend Laura will not be making it tonight. Okay, moving forward. We have the minutes.
Move approval of the August 10th minutes as written.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Good for you. Motion carries. We move forward. Public comments.
Yeah, that's me. Do I need to go there, or can I speak from here?
Speak
Speak from here.
Thank you. Reporting on the District Library Board.
Oh, Don, we should probably put that under communications,
Oh, never mind.
We'll wait.
just to be more formal.
I just wanted to get it out of the way.
But thanks for I'm really glad you remember.
Cool. All right, so any public comments at this time? We have yays from the audience. All right, moving forward.
Jazz hands from the audience.
Jazz hands, you bet. Well, this is clapping in sign language.
Oh, I know.
So library director's report, if you would please.
Okay, so before I forget, so I'll take over your words.
Jazz.
You can't do it, but I can.
Jazz
Linda.
They will all do jazz hands.
Well, our next meeting is October the 12th, which is like right after we reopen, and I'll go through all that move stuff in a minute. And like right before the grand opening, can we skip?
Skip October.
Yeah, skip the October meeting. And then you know, and hopefully you'll be at the grand opening or whatever, and then we can like discuss that in November and
Do we have a
blah, blah,
motion?
blah.
I move that we not meet in October because of the grand opening gala.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Tough.
Thank you so much. I
You've got way too much on
appreciate
your
it
plate to have to worry about
so
stuff like
much.
that.
Yeah, when we were doing the Friends meeting, I just realized what the date was, and it's like, we have a Pints from the Past that night. You know, it's just like nutso time. So, and you know, I just don't need added nutso to existing nutso. So, and then the other thing is, I wanted to, and I just have this like on a little scrap of paper, and I didn't write it up. But we have had, you know, we worked on the meeting room policies for a long time, and we realized that once people started using the meeting rooms, we may have to like tweak them a little bit because maybe they weren't just right, because we are new at this game, and we have to kind of work through doing it in reality. So a couple of people came to me and are really interested in starting a genealogical interest group, similar to what some other libraries do around here. And I am super thrilled to support this. It requires nothing from us other than the provision of the room. And this is exactly what we have rooms like that for. And they would meet there once a month. And the first thing that cropped up was the fact that we are not allowing people to make reservations out past 21 days, or 28 days, I'm sorry, like about a month, right? And so it's really difficult for a group like that, you know, it starts becoming obvious as I talk, right? To like say, so our meeting is going to be the first Tuesday of every month when they can't guarantee a space. And so, you know, the reason that we had it limited was so that people are just not being room hogs and taking it up too much of the time and giving other people a chance. But I was thinking, you know, if it's just once or twice a month, like why not let people do that at least like 6 months out or something, so they know they can plan on their group being able to get together.
Okay, so to that end, let's say we have like a 90-day test period where if you are consistently coming in at, say, the second Tuesday of the month, and you do that for 3 months in a row, then at that point you can say, okay, you've established yourself as a regular group. You now go into our regular group list, and we'll put you on the calendar as a standing hold for that day, that time. Just to give it a trial period, just to, because I don't know how many groups are out there that are like that. I mean, it's a great example of, something that this room is designed for.
Right.
But at the same time, you do still have those, we're not sure how this is going to work thing. So give them that trial period, give them 3 shots at it. If they can hit all 3 shots, then that time is theirs as a regular
So like
organized group meeting.
if they like dissolve or if they cancel, then what?
If they dissolve or cancel, at that point, they start the 3 months over again, 90 days.
What do the rest of you guys think?
Do you have any idea how long the meetings are? Is it just for an
What
hour?
time of day?
Oh, it'll probably be like 1 to 3 the first Tuesday of every month or something like
Like in the
that.
afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not big crunch time, like 5 o'clock.
Well, I mean, we don't know what big crunch time will be.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? And that's why I was thinking like, well, we wouldn't give them a year, but we'd give them like 6 months or something so that they could have something to count on. And then we always reserve the right, if it's a library thing, that's written into our policy to
Right.
remove that we can bump them out of there.
I don't think 6 months is an unreasonable thing for it.
No, I mean, it's important for groups to be able to advertise a set date and a time and place. I mean, every time I've done that, it's very important to have something like that.
Yeah, and I understand what Dan's saying, but I think if they abide by the rules that have been so thoughtfully worked
Very
through.
thoughtfully worked through.
Thoroughly.
Yes, thoroughly,
That,
yes.
that should be enough to, as long as they maintain that. If they mess with it during this, I would say, 6-month period, then there is no.
Well, yeah, and if people are breaking the rules, I mean, it would just be like a behavior thing as well. It's like, you guys are going to lose your privileges if you don't have the room clean after you leave or et cetera. You know what I mean?
And if they understand that they would be jeopardizing that locked-in day,
I like Dan's idea. It seems really fair.
It's for an establishment, just to have an establishing period of you're actually an organized group and
Yeah, so-
whatever.
The only problem I see with like being the curator of like who's established and who's not is that adds work to us. Like I don't really care if they're established or not. If they use the room, and that's all we need to know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like if you want to like start off with just 3 months at a time, that's fine. But like, either they show up or not. It's kind of my.
So initially, you were limiting it because you were concerned about, I think, demand. I mean, I don't know
we don't know what demand
how do
would
we
be.
anticipate, once people know there's a community room available, there are a lot of groups who want to meet regularly, and it could fill up quickly with a lot of regular groups. I don't know how to
Like
balance
once a
that.
month for 6 months out kind of thing? Is that?
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Like maxing it at that. But then like if they came in November, then they could add a month when they're there. They could add a rolling reservation, so they always have 6. So then they pretty much would know that they had it. You know what I mean? So they
It
could,
also allows them to plan ahead and say, oh, at this
Yeah.
particular point, we're not going to be able to meet because of X, Y, Z, and then
they could cancel it and change it or whatever. You know.
but still have it as a standing thing because they've established themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this group would be able to plan that far in advance, like if they knew there was something else coming up that they all wanted to attend. Because the genealogical groups are interesting. They seem very tight, and they go to a lot of each other's meetings and stuff. They all belong to more than one interest group or whatever. And so, I think they really count on these meetings a lot, and we'd get good attendance. I think it would be a great group to align with us. I mean, it's a great group to start with and kind of do a test pattern. So if you want to make it 3, that's fine. If you want to make it 6, that's fine. I just realized as we're doing it, it's like 28 days. What are we thinking? People can't plan on the next month with that.
Right.
Yeah.
But a rolling A rolling.
Yeah, rolling.
That
a
works
rolling.
really well.
Yeah.
But this would be for any group now.
Sure.
You're not just, I mean, this is the first group that's approached you. And
Yeah.
I think that's okay. You know, I think we just need to be aware. And I guess if all of a sudden the calendar's full,
So do we have an emotion?
I move that we approve a 6-month lease for user groups of the, not a lease, but a 6-month period for.
Ability to reserve in advance is what it is.
What she said.
Yeah.
Where the meetings don't run more than 3 hours.
Well, it's all.
That the meeting needs to be, you know, somebody has once a month an 8-hour meeting.
That's-
Every month starts to get.
It sure does.
Okay, so maybe limit the time to, okay. I'm fine.
All right, so we have a motion.
Sort
We're
of
limiting the time as well.
Do you want to add that, limiting the time?
time limit, please.
Like 3 hours to start with?
Yeah, I think that's
I
reasonable.
think it's very reasonable. It would be virtually all morning or all afternoon, you know what I mean? Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
Great, thank you guys so much. We're probably gonna have this come up every month from now on. But you know, it will get, you know, as we use the things, then we'll get it figured out.
And that's the joy of this is that
Yeah.
we're a guinea pig situation.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so we've got this, now we've got this, now we've got this, now we've got this.
Yeah, it's living policy.
Yeah.
You know, which is the way all policy should be, right? So, just to kind of give you an update on what is going on, I do want you to know that like some of the statistics that I had in my report, well, I'm not a statistician, but I would say that this month they're probably a little bit more suspect of being higher or lower than usual. So for instance, I can just go through this a little bit. The door count, that is the number that was on our counters, but not both door counters were working all month. So in the old library, in the old system, when that would happen, I would extrapolate because I had enough history with them to be able to, but the numbers seemed so high on our daily count that I was just uncomfortable doing that, so I just left them off and said, okay, well, there's a note, you know, on my spreadsheet, there's a note there that I can see what happened, and I'm just gonna go with it, you know?
Now, that's with 2 entrances. So once we get that 3rd entrance in, it complicates things that much more.
Yeah, we'll have, I know, and they've been driving our in-house IT guy crazy. So, yeah, it's gonna be really very interesting to see where the business is and all that. Is that not what?
It's
Okay. So, as we go on down the line, the self-check transactions, they're fine. The holds, they're fine. Library to go is up about 400 or 350 from last year at this time. Patron and assisted, those are legitimate numbers and they look pretty much like last year's, a little 50 more maybe. The reference desk has been very busy upstairs, very, very busy. So I think you'll see reference statistics skyrocket.
and you think that's because it's more visible or more apparent that it's there? Or?
Yeah, I think it's more visible, it's more pleasant to be at it, you know, you can like lean on it.
I even used the reference thing not that long ago. I was trying to get hold of the book on disc, and I think I'm going to end up with it on cassette. But
Oh.
we get because I guess the nearest one on disc was in California,
Oh, goodness.
and it's one of these things. It's like, okay, this is part of a series. How come we don't have it in our system? And it's the
That's
first one in
odd.
the series. Yeah, so it probably had been in our system, but it probably got lost or misplaced.
And a lot of those, they don't redo, a lot of those audiobooks.
Oh, it's not like it's not unavailable for purchase, but I'm sure the purchase price is pretty up there.
Yeah. Well, you could always put in a request for it, you know.
Oh, I did.
Good, good.
I did.
And then cultural passes, August is always busy, those numbers were good. Patron registrations, 384 in August.
Nice.
I know. And the staff was telling me, like, boy, it feels like we've been doing so many registrations that, like, you know, they check everyone to make sure they've got all the right info and everything, and that's all we've been doing is checking registrations. And I'm like, well, you know why? You did 384. You know, a typical month would be like 150 or 175 or something. So that's crazy. Internet is busy. And then the other thing that is wrong probably is on the back is the money. And Denise, one of our circulation people who does the money, let me know that our system turns, I think I read this right, our system will turn waived fines into money. It will translate it into money. So she can like sift that out of there, but she didn't know it was doing that. So I know, I was like, God, that's a lot of money. So we're gonna go through the last year or the last month and fix that up. But just, you know, we're trying, but our systems they're gonna be a little off for a while, you know, so. And until we get the Carnegie open and stuff, it's just not really gonna be.
That's to be expected.
It'll still be a while.
It's growing pains. It's growing
And-
pains. It's good.
Yeah, and then we are currently interviewing and we'll be hiring more on-call library assistants. We really need the help. Right after we moved in, we had 5 people. We lost 5 people for like 5 different reasons. You know, somebody got transferred to Detroit, her husband did. I mean, just like, you know, reasons beyond our control, except for the person that I fired. That was in my control. And so, you know, it just kind of hit us really hard at a bad time. So staff has been busting their butts keeping up over there. Because, you know, that was when like people were bringing books back from like having them at home for like 3 weeks and stuff. It was insane. So they've been doing an amazing job. So we've got a lot of really good applicants in the pool. And so we're gonna hire a slew of people because they're on call. So you don't have to promise them any hours or anything like that. But they often turn into our, you know, our very frontline, most important people. So it's really critical that we get good people there. And then, you know, we wrapped up summer reading. And summer reading was very successful, even though it was, with the construction going on, it was difficult for people to like really enjoy it to the max. Even though all of our kids' programs were over at the Pioneer Center, and they always have been, there's just so much going on that some days that wasn't a very nice place to visit, or people were confused about where the programs were and thought we'd have them at the new library, and you know, so it was still kind of, but Barrett and Gina did a really good job, and I'll have to get the final numbers on those. We, like it was total of like almost 1,400 altogether.
I don't know. I know the adult was, I think, 3 something.
Yeah,
I don't know what the kids.
Right. It was more than we've ever had combined. So, that was great. That was really exciting. So now we can update you on moving and building, especially now that DA's here.
Yay.
So as far as the move goes, what we have planned is on Monday and Tuesday, October 3rd and 4th, we're going to close early, and by early it's like 4 or 5 or something like that, and have Dave, our construction site manager, give him the ability to come in and hang something like this above the reference desk before the furniture people end up back over in the addition for putting on the end panels. So he wants to get that done before they're clashing. So we'll close early those 2 days. And then on October the 5th, we close the library, and the movers come in and start helping us reshuffle everything. Also on that Monday and Tuesday, the 3rd and the 4th, the furniture people will be in the Carnegie. And their first assignment is to fill the basement with staff furniture so that the staff can move out of the community room as soon as possible and get into the basement. So then Dave can go into the community room and do the same thing. Yeah. So the...
You play Tetris?
Huh?
You play Tetris?
You know what? That totally is what a construction site manager does. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's crazy. What a job. So yeah, so the furniture people will do the basement, and then they'll do the shelves in the Carnegie and whatever goes into the Carnegie. And then they'll hang the first end panels and canopy tops in the Carnegie so they can kind of figure out how to do that, because that's a whole new assignment then. And then they'll move over, as we're moving out, they'll move over into the addition to help over, to do the end panels and canopy tops over there. And we'll have staff actually helping them because they need things off of certain shelves. So we can like put them on carts and then put them back on carts and all that stuff as time goes on. So then we'll start moving into the Carnegie starting the 5th. And, you know, it won't be as bad as this, but it'll still be like a lot of moving computers around and this stuff. And that tends to be the stuff that takes a while, moving computers and setting them up and stuff. So we plan on being closed until the following Wednesday, the 12th. But one of the reasons that we have to be closed for so long is that Monday, the 10th, is a planned all-staff training day for all the libraries in Clackamas County. So we have a group of staff from all the libraries planning that. It's really going to be great. I get to be the MC, probably because my initials are MC. I'm like, really? What more could I do that week? Let me see.
What's your
I
middle
know.
initial? What's your middle name?
Oh, crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. But so that'll be Monday, and then because we have people who are typically off on Monday who will have to be there for the training, what we're going to do is give them Tuesday off. And then the rest of us can kind of go do those final things to get all moved in. And then our schedule will be like, we'll be right back on our regular schedule instead of like having it be all messed up and having people off on the Saturday, which is what they'd have to be, and because that's our grand opening and we don't want anybody to be off on that Saturday. So it's like, you know, all this other stuff that you have to think about, I think we've got it figured out. So then we'll reopen on the 12th. That's the plan, and hopefully we'll be able to stick with the plan. And then the 14th, the evening of the 14th, is the foundation donor sneak peek kind of night. Thank you, donor acknowledgement. And then the 15th is the grand opening. The grand opening I wanted to talk to you guys about this. It starts at noon. We'll be closed until then. And then the kind of the program part of it will start at 12:30 in the community room. And since it only seats, you know, like 75 people or whatever, although I'm sure we can cram in more than that because I just know we can, we'll broadcast it to the other monitors in the building. And we'll have the Portland Metro Concert Band out on the lawn starting at 12, so welcoming people in. We'll have a balloon guy up in the reading circle. We'll have, the magic is not until after the presentation.
1:30.
Magic, our favorite magic guy who does a summer program for us every year will be doing a magic show outside after the presentation. So hopefully the presentation will be like 30, 40 minutes max. You know, we don't want to have people sitting too long. And then we'll do like, you know, self-guided tours. We'll have handout gifts. We'll have activities like giant Jenga. Hopefully the Girl Scouts will help us. We'll have the harpist who usually does our Christmas program will be in the Carnegie, which I think will be lovely. So we're trying to, you know, do some things like that. And then at 3 we'll do the raffle or the drawing for the foundation dot thing and call it good. So the presentation part, the program part, you know, Mayor Holliday will get up and welcome everybody and thank everybody for being there, point out any notables in the audience. And then I was thinking, like, I don't know if the library board wants to have a role in.
I would like to have a role. You know, I've worked hard for this sucker. So, you know, even if it's just standing up and saying, thanks a lot, yeah, that'd be good, but something.
Well, I would be acknowledging you at some point in time. What I plan to do is kind of tell the story. Well, that's what I mean. Do you guys want to get up in front of everybody? Do you want me to just acknowledge you and have you stand up? Does anybody want to say anything? I don't know.
I mean, I guess I personally was thinking more to be part of the sort of greeting thank you.
And that would be
crowd,
great.
You know, just to be available. I mean, I think acknowledging, and we could wave at the,
Yeah.
but I'd rather be more thanking the community.
Well, you
for
could
support.
get up and do that,
But it'd be just helping during the
Got
time.
it.
So.
being available to greet
available
people
to
or
greet
walk
people.
people around or show them around or whatever. The
That was my thoughts.
The Friends offered to do that as well, and that would be great. I know we can use people to do that, because it's probably going to be complete chaos.
I would love to volunteer for anything that you need. Any
Okay,
help.
great.
I'd like to see the Public Works Director get us slotted in there for a little bit of time to talk about how they've helped us get our project done so well.
No.
Yeah, that's assuming that they get the asphalt down by November.
Oh, the asphalt's going great, DA.
It's down.
The asphalt's
It's down.
going great, yeah. It's down on John Adams, it's complete.
Almost
Yeah,
done.
and that was always planned that way. It was always
I think
planned
I
that way.
remember that,
Yeah, it was always planned that way, so that we could dig the streets up like we needed to over replace pipes and do all that mess.
Right.
And then they would pave over and we would forget about all our sorrows, would be paved under. Yeah, but I mean, so that everything would be nice at the end all at once was pretty much the idea, so it will be. It will be. I mean, we've paid a high price these last couple of weeks, but, you know, you got to go through the middle, and what's in between point A to point B, you got to go through it to get there, so.
It's kind of like writing a novel.
Yeah, I
The
bet.
beginning's easy, the end's easy, it's the middle that's always the hard part, yeah.
I'll take your word for that.
Hey, November's coming up, you can do it too.
No, I can't. I am not taking anything new on in November. Not No Shave November, no novel writing November, nothing November. Yeah. In fact, maybe it is nothing November.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. Right?
Get bored very quickly.
Yeah. That I would love to be bored. Remember what that's
Be a nice
like.
change of pace.
Yeah, right. So that's kind of what it looks like. And, you know, barring use, and feel free to think about this. We have a little bit of time, but not much. But, you know, I just plan on, you know, we'll just go from Dan Holiday to me, and I'm just going to tell the story of how we got here, and then I can thank people along the way, and then those people can be acknowledged. Like, you know, you guys can stand up and wave at that point.
Yeah. Sounds good.
What's kind of funny is that, like, there's so many people, and they're like multiple roles, you know, like, and it started for so many years ago that, you know, like you guys, library board forever, and then different library board people, and, you know, maybe I should just like have everybody in the audience who's ever been on the library board, please stand up, you know? Well, that would be kind of entertaining.
I think that'd be a good
I know.
idea.
I think it'd be
Yeah,
cool.
I think
That'd be a
that'd
good
be kind
Yeah,
of interesting.
okay, well,
Yeah,
we can
I
do
like
that. And then I
Yeah,
can do
because it's actually
special
a long process, a lot longer than 4
Well,
years
that's
I've done
just it. That's just it. And way longer than I've been here.
Right.
You know, yeah,
You were
it
right
started.
from what, the beginning? Yeah.
When did it start, Jan?
Mid-70s.
Really?
Yeah, I've even read notes of people started talking about the need to expand in the 60s.
Before that, yeah, but it got real serious there during that time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Wow was right.
yeah. That's why I'm so excited.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't even know I was going to be a librarian then. I didn't even know I was going to graduate high school from then.
Did library school prepare you for this?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, not at all. I don't think anything can prepare you for this. But it's been awesome.
Great.
Best experience of my life, second to having children.
You had to say that.
I think you're required if you're a mother. Yeah. No, I mean, that's a whole nother, you know that.
Yeah.
It's just a whole nother thing.
On to other topics.
Yeah, another fabulous. It's kind of like that, though.
All right.
And I know I could write a long article about how building a building is like having a child. Totally. Yeah.
Birth
That's a
of
project for
building.
next year.
Long pregnancy.
Yeah.
The birth of a building. Okay, yeah.
Birth of a building. I'm the elephant. Yeah, right? Long pregnancy. So that's kind of what that looks like. As far as the building project, you know, we're seeing changes daily outside on the plaza area. It looks great. They poured more concrete today. The steps are in. The ramp is in. The staff entrance is in to the basement of the Carnegie. The planters are in. So once they finish some of that stuff, then The landscape people will be coming in like in another week or so to do some of that landscaping. It looks kind of really barren around the spray park right now, but there will be trees going in on those places that have dirt. So that'll look really nice, and it will kind of break it up and soften that whole area a lot, because it does look pretty stark right now.
When does the automated materials handler go in?
No, so that probably is not until at least June of next year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's a totally separate project that's kind of running on its own timeline, somewhat parallel to this, but not parallel enough.
Because that's a district thing, that's not
That's
just
a whole
us.
district thing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so one of our staff members goes to a meeting, like how often is that meeting? Every 2 weeks?
Every other week.
Yeah, every 2 weeks.
Really?
And they're having to make like all kinds of district-wide decisions on like, you know, the things the RFID thing that you put on each item is called a tag. So like audiovisual, you know, the books, the audiobooks, the DVDs, it's the multiple, you know, not copy, but, you know.
Parts.
Yeah, parts, thank you. Such a simple word that I could not come up with. Those are the difficult ones. You have to make decisions because like they don't, it doesn't work well.
Can't set the tag to say, okay, this tag represents 14 discs.
Well, you kind of have to
Yeah.
because you can't put a tag on each disc.
Right.
Because none of them would work because they're too close together, and you don't want to like put each one in a separate case because then you'd run out of room in like a day.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Silly question, but have you guys consulted with Multnomah on how they did it?
We've consulted with Washington County. I'm sure we have consulted with, and we had our own special consultant that the county hired just for this project to come in and talk to us about it. So yeah, we've done all kinds of
Yeah, I'm just curious as to
consultation.
how Multnomah solved it, because that's the other system I'm familiar with, so.
Yeah. Well, Washington County is a little bit more like what we are because they're actually separate libraries as well with separate kind of amounts of money. So this is going to really, really be something though because the county is going to purchase a really huge automated materials handler. And so we are not going to have to sort out books by like, oh, it goes to Lake Oswego, oh, it goes to Milwaukee, oh, it goes to Wilsonville, oh, it goes to Westland.
It's just
Oh,
like-
we just like send them back, okay, here's the stuff that's not us. And then they are going to sort that out up at their office up on the hill. And they've got the space for it and everything. And it's going to save us like so much time.
So that's what you mean by space for the automated, it's up on top of the hill, not in our,
No, we have one too. We're getting a small one.
small one, okay.
Yes.
Right,
So
for
we're getting
income,
like a 5-bin one.
Yeah.
And the vendor who is selling us all that stuff, he's been in to see the space. You know, he's worked with the architect to make sure that the layout would work. So it's like all that is going to be in the old circulation room, but it's bigger now because we took out the staff bathroom that was back there, so it's expanded. So the wall that the book drop is actually is going to be in that old bathroom wall. So like if you're going out from the reference room out the back door,
Yeah.
now you'd be going into the new building.
Yeah.
It's on that wall on your right.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of central to like all the doors. And so there's 2 drop-off sites because the other thing is we went with the vendor. There's different ways of taking books in, but the best way to get the best read on checking every book in as it goes through, which is what you want to do, is to have it go one at a time, which is slower than you'd like because, you know, people are used to just dumping, you know, right? So now you have to go down to one at a time. So we have 2 sites where they can like at least do that, and they're right next to each other. And then we were able to get a window built in so that the kids can like watch the conveyor belt and watch the machine at work. So that'll be really fun. So the window will be in, and we'll use those you know, boxes that they kind of, squares that they kind of drilled out of the, cut out of the wall in order to like accommodate the future induction machinery that goes in there. But you'll just like stick it through and it'll dump into like what we used to use actually up at Danielson's, this big green bin. which is going to be perfect for it until we get our actual automated materials handler. So we had to come up with like a temporary way to do that.
On a related note,
Yes.
my uncle-in-law asked, are we going to have a drive-by book drop?
No.
Not anymore? Okay.
No, we never were going to. The street simply cannot accommodate it. So what we decided on was where the book drop is now, the outside one, it will stay out there. It might be a few feet away from where it is. And then, the spaces out there's 3 ADA and then there'll be 3 express spaces. So that's 15 minutes. So you can just, park, hopefully run in, run out, get your holds and be gone. And so hopefully there'll be a lot of turnover in those spaces and hopefully there will be, hopefully lots of space where people want to just run, drive up and get out and drop their books off. There will be, hopefully there'll be good turnover there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
We'll see.
That's a good explanation.
We tried to accommodate it and the streets just they're not wide enough. We would have to give up a whole bunch of parking spaces right there.
Yeah, and
I just
that's the
think
last
giving
thing
up
we need to give up.
parking
Yeah.
is not a good idea. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. So what else do you want to tell them about?
Well, I think that there have been a few little toe stubs around the Carnegie because of unforeseen conditions and that kind of thing, and they've gotten over that. And the budget's intact. We're not really, we're down to counting a lot of pennies is what it amounts to. And that's where we should be on this project. So I don't think we have any issues there. There's certainly some issues that have come up in landscaping that, a little more of this and that here and there would be better. And so we'll see there'll be some little extra costs coming around about that. But I just don't really think we've got any major roadblock between now and grand opening.
Yeah, nothing major.
No, I think it's we got through the Carnegie presented a lot of little problems as any remodel would. Mm-hmm. We got through that really right after Labor Day and they applied an additional, I don't know whether they call them a superintendent or what they did, but another body out there to help manage getting the Carnegie done on time and through all the little rough spots. And that made a good difference. So I think we're there. I don't see any, we're not seeing anything on the horizon that's a problem. So now it's just a matter of getting all those little details cleaned up and made
Pretty.
right. Yep.
Yeah, there'll still be some stuff after
there's
the
signage
grand
issues.
opening. But we finally got doors on the conference room, some of those things are coming together. And, yeah.
Yeah, in our minds, we're already done.
Yeah.
It's hard coming to work every day realizing we're not, there's still lots of noise. I mean, not just with the street construction, but they're still rolling around out there where they're pouring concrete too, So, but I think it looks great. We get a ton of positive feedback. I mean, people love it.
Yeah, I brought my oldest in this week. He hadn't seen it yet. He's like, wow.
Oh, good. That's
Yeah.
neat.
It's like, you guys have room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tried to explain to him that all the stuff up on the second floor, the reference area and the AV stuff, that's all going to be in the old building, and that's
Right.
going to be more
We're spread out.
What?
More materials.
Yeah.
Is the staff going to be pretty much out of the community room by grand opening?
Oh, yeah.
That'll
Oh, yeah.
all be, great.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my
Because
gosh.
that'll help the community really understand just how
Yeah, that
big a
will.
value that's going to be
Right.
to the
Yeah.
project.
And then, and having the Carnegie open too. I mean, one of the comments that we did hear from several adults was like, why isn't the adult stuff downstairs? Why are you making us go upstairs? And it's like, well, it was a big decision. It was tough to figure out, but it just felt like it should be kids down here, So, but then once they, of course I lead them right to the elevator. Oh, and one guy, he was so cute. He got off the elevator and I just happened to be walking by and he goes, I hate to tell you this, but that elevator is like not going anywhere. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, I've been up and down and the door didn't open. I go, oh, I know what happened. The door opened behind you and it's so quiet, he didn't hear it. So then he felt so stupid and I'm like, no, let's hop on. Come on, hop on. Let's go for a ride. And this other lady came with us and we had a blast. But anyway, it was just like, it was funny. But then, once we have the Carnegie, then the adults do have something downstairs. And it's kind of more their own space, kind of really. It's not like limited or anything, excluding kids or anything like that, but that's more of an adult space, And I think it'll be really nice. So, yeah, and then staff will have their own space, and we'll have a community room and a conference room and a small conference room and offices. And my latest thing is I wanted to use our commas, that's up on the windows. I want to use those on some of the interior windows and make it like closer to people so they can, see them and experience it. I mean, we went to all the trouble to come up with that design. It feels like it's could be more integrated. So, I mean, and we've got all that. It's our design now. It's like we own it. We can do whatever we want with it.
How about bookmarks in the form of commas?
Might be a good idea.
I just threw it out.
Yeah. Oh my God, write that down, Linda. She's like, no, not one more thing. No, I can't handle it. And we're going to make you cover it.
I know.
Yes.
That's why.
That's what the 3D printer's for.
Yeah,
3D printer, oh, that's cool, I like that.
So what else, DA? What else can we tell these people? I mean, I think it's,
We're just about ready to wash our hands of it, so.
some of us might be.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, I'd like to say for the board and maybe for you that this man has done an amazing job on this.
All I did was go to a few meetings.
Yeah.
Yes, but you speak civilian.
You made a huge
But
contribution.
really,
You're
most
bilingual,
leadership
though.
has been the absolutely most important factor in making this thing successful.
True that.
And that's a big deal because nobody gets trained to build a library.
No.
And the librarian really has to have her wits about her to know what she wants because she gets run over by so many other agendas that show up on any given project. And so Mo's really been able to see her way to the end all the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
So I think it's great.
Well, I'm honored to be on this project. Seriously, it's just been a fantastic experience, and we've just had the best team. I've got to work with people that I never would have been able to work with and do things I never would have been able to do, and that doesn't mean I want to do them again, but I've learned so much. It's just been amazing. So I've loved it, no matter what I say. It's been really good. All right. Any questions?
You said the library reopens October 12th. I missed
Yeah.
the date when you said it was first closing.
The 5th.
The 5th,
October
okay.
5th, so another week. We got through a couple of things without having to close down. We thought when they revarnished the floors in the Carnegie that the odor from that is so toxic that we might have to close down. But man, they figured out a system of fans that just blew it out the other way. And you could kind of tell when you walk by on the street, but it was dispersed into so much fresh air. Yeah, that it didn't bother us at all, thank heaven. So, we've been, that will be a month that we've been closed for this whole thing. That's a lot, but, well, I don't know how you could avoid it. Canby's getting ready to close for their grand opening, which is going to be the same day as ours.
Really?
And they're going to
change it.
No, but it's in the morning. But whatever. I don't think the same people will be attending. Although
Hooray for Clackamas County.
Scott Edwards did that job.
Yeah.
Yeah, hooray for Clackamas County is right.
Two
And they're going to be
libraries.
closed for 3 weeks leading up to that too.
Yeah.
So that's what it takes. Yeah. Great. Okay.
Any communications we need to go through?
Now?
You want, yeah. Well,
Okay, so I'm on the district library board and representing our board here. They have restructured. They have a new chairperson, new vice chair, and the last meeting, the minutes of which have not appeared yet, so I can't read from them, but I'll try to remember a few things. They presented us, they actually took us through a little course on District Library 101, and it's all the voting and what happened here and what are the rules here and how the things work. So we now have books that list all the things that we're doing. So they're getting their act together, but we still have the problem to the north here between those two. Is it 2 or 3 entities up there? 2 entities up there.
Oak Lodge and Gladstone.
Yeah, so don't know how that's going to come out, but I always say, well, I have one vote, and if somebody makes a motion, I'll think about it, But I don't have any solution for them up there other than I can't make them get together. So, yeah. So, but we're holding our own with that, and it's very interesting to see the faces around here, because they're all people like myself who are not professional librarians. We haven't really worked with the budgets that much, but yet here we are now having to give figures to this group for whatever reason about how all the money goes this way and that way. So I'm quite cautious about doing that. I think that there are other agendas going on there when they ask for those numbers. So I suppose we have to give them. But
I like a suspicious board member.
I am a very suspicious board member.
So some of this it relates to how we spend district funds. And the way the district was written originally, and that's what, as you'll recall, that this advisory board is for the district. And I used to attend it, and then people started getting to be strict constitutionalists, as you might say. And so then we had to have a non-interested or an interested but non-library director person. So Dawn's been doing a great job, especially since I didn't even make it to the last meeting. But so there's some discussion about whether or not district income can be used for capital projects. Because when you think about it, so now Oregon City has like a new building and it belongs to Oregon City, and a bunch of that money came from the district. So like everybody, but everybody in the whole county can use it, but it's Oregon City's, they own it. So there's that, and the language of how it was written, did that allow for using it for capital or not? So there's a big dispute over that, which is why they've asked us, like, well, how much money have you spent on capital? And almost all of us actually have spent some of that money on capital, beyond like the $1 million that the county gave us, which was part of that IGA that happened when the district was created. But I will send you the training that Dawn got, the District 101 or whatever it's called, because it's very complicated, and it's difficult to kind of hold all the pieces in your mind, don't you think? Yeah.
I just wait for a motion and I can vote on that motion.
Yeah, but
I'm not the Robert Rules of Order guy, so.
No, but what we are kind of afraid of is like motions coming up and the board members not having the opportunity to go back to their city and discuss it with their library director, with their library board, with their city manager. And some of these decisions have some real ripple effects that are rather nuanced. And so I've asked Dawn to like not agree to things.
Well, I'm going to propose a motion to that effect.
Are you?
Yeah, that's what that if there's something comes up that we have to discuss it, we need time to go back to our boards, our administrations, and see what the ramifications are, and then we'll come back with an answer and a vote, because, I could do it off the top of my head, but I don't think it'd be right, so.
Well, yeah, and I try to go to all these meetings, but I couldn't go to the last one because I was on vacation.
Even if you were at the meeting, would I have to stop the meeting, take you out in the hallway and talk to you?
Because they don't let us sit at the same table.
And if it's a deal that involves the city administration and they're not there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that's a very smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Don't know if it'll get passed, but we'll throw it out.
Yeah, and I think it's a good discussion point.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with that. Anything else for that? But I'll get that training, those
No, there wasn't
training
much
things
else
to you.
business on.
Yeah.
The Constitutionalists didn't rise their papers again today.
And the new chair is Pam North. She's the retired library director for Sherwood. She lives in West Lynn, and she's been on the West Lynn Library Board for a long time. And so she really knows what she's talking about. She's very good. So I feel like we're being, we have good leadership there, which will be really helpful. So.
Thanks for doing that, Dawn.
Well,
Yeah.
like I say, I attended a few meetings, so. But with that little idea that I probably have the history of the world in my pocket here someplace. I better be careful with it. That's all.
Uh-oh.
Linda Van Haverbeek for the Library Foundation. As Mo said, we're having our thank you get-together gala, whatever we want to call it, on October 14th. It's going to be from 7 to 8:30, and those invitations will go out shortly after Friday. And the other thing that we've been working on and will be continue to be working on is how best to invest the foundation money to for our investment fund and even our short term until we need to turn it over to the city fund. So that's what our big deal is right now, besides, going to the post office and going to the bank and applying for grants and talking to people. So my husband and I went to 50 businesses earlier this summer, and then we've been going to the farmers market pretty much every other Saturday and talking to people. So anything else that
Well, Karen sort of made this general statement that money's coming in every day.
It was because the Collins Foundation grant, the date was September 1st. It's been extended to December 1st, so a lot of people had heard September 1st, and so they were sending it in. We were in between at the post office, at different meetings, at on our website, on PayPal. We were getting a lot of money, and we need it, and you need it.
We need it, and we still need about 60.
Oh, yeah, 63, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, no, 60. Steve said this morning, 60.
$100 contribution,
Or
so
better.
for us to get the grant match.
Yes,
So-
for that Collins
And it
grant.
needs to be kind of new people who haven't given before, because you can't, it can't be like in other, you only get to count the $100 one time per person. So, yeah, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. So, yeah, we need to drum up new business. So that
And
makes it
the
work.
purpose of it is to get more people involved, not just for some few people to give a lot of big money,
Right.
but to make it the community's
Yeah,
library.
get everybody
and for the
invested in it.
Ownership. So those are the two big things that we're working on. Once we get past the gala, and Karen has been working very hard. DA works very hard. Claire works very hard. I guess Steve works very hard. So
You work very hard.
Very hard.
I do. But it's a passion. When I was on the library board, the year that I was the chair was the year that we kicked this off in the most recent round, because we went and visited Estacada and asked about doing a library district and how to do it. We looked into it, researched it that year, and then the county turned around to us and said, wait. So we were ready. We've been ready. And so, that's a long time. This is probably...
What year was that?
It must be like 2006 or 7, the year that I was the chair. We hired Mo, and then we did... And
It was 2009.
with that whole thing in sight, that we're working towards a library and trying to get everybody going, and foundation started in 2009. So we've been chomping at the bit to get busy, and we've been working hard. And the city I'm so proud of, because it's not only the Library Foundation that's been getting money. I go out and I talk to other people, and they tell me about their charities that have recently been getting more and more money. And so people are stepping up once the economy has gotten better.
Thanks.
Jan Salisbury, Friends of the Library. And we are meeting our $25,000 plus without a big problem. I had faith that we would, and we are, so that will happen. And I guess we'll present an additional amount at the opening, grand opening, so that'll be that. The other thing is annually we have a luncheon on December 1st, and you're all invited. It's up at the Ainsworth House. I had the A. I couldn't.
I know, I can never remember it either. I had to ask Linda.
Yeah, the Ainsworth House, and it's always a lot of fun. It's kind of a fun celebration too. So you are all invited to come and enjoy the fun. It's lunch, so it's at that time. That's probably our biggest. The other is the bookstore is just, the people that work there are just phenomenal. They're dedicated people that work on a regular basis daily. I mean, they put in full day's work. And we're dealing with mainly retirees. And today they were talking about we really need some younger people in there to help with transitions or whatever. So if you know of anyone that's just sitting around, they might want something to do, just head them our way. So beyond that, things are just copacetic, going along pretty good.
Excellent.
Do you get the membership card when you join the Friends?
No.
Okay.
No, I saw your name. Thank you,
Okay.
Scott.
You're welcome.
Yes, applaud. No, they used to do something, but they really don't. You have a list. We have a list,
Okay.
and so you get mailings.
Okay.
You're on the nice list now, not
You
the
are on
naughty
the nice list, not the naughty list. Right,
That's
right.
10% off. when
Yeah, I don't.
If you ask for it.
Yeah, you certainly can. I don't know. I mean, the reason I'm hesitating is I thought that policy has changed back and forth, so I'm not sure where all that is with membership. But yeah, I just handle the books, so I don't.
The books are so inexpensive.
I know.
Yeah.
You hate to ask for 10% off.
Well, the people that work there, what I wanted to mention, have indicated that there are a lot of new people coming in, so word is finally getting out, and we are probably going to sign a 5-year lease, so at least we're committed to that. We've pretty much decided it's better to stay there, even though the rent is high, but it's still not, it's still reasonable, rather than trying to do a move. We're near the library. I mean, it just all makes sense if we can stay there. So that's kind of where we're at.
Side thing, are we going to have a donation for Friends Library at the library for those people who don't know, or does everything have to be funneled through Friends Library?
Are we gonna have what?
Like a donation box for Friends of the Library?
Oh, at the library?
Yeah.
Gosh, we've had a shelf for books, but we haven't had a donation thing for a while.
No, you mean for people to drop off donations?
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't really done that for quite a while.
We'd still prefer if they're actually donating books, we'd still prefer they go straight to them
Straight to
at
Friends.
the bookstore, yeah.
That's just a
Got a donation in mind?
Oh, yeah, always.
Always.
And then once the library is situated, they have the space, we're encouraging them to come shop at the bookstore. I mean, my attitude is they can have any books they want that are donated.
Yeah.
But that's my
Yeah.
attitude.
I think the reason why that even came up is for the period that ours was closed, I was over at West Lynn,
Right.
and they've got a Friends of Library wall that they've got a selection of books that you can get, and they change it around. This book's only available until such and such a time, and then which
Okay.
one goes to their main location. But just kind of a Friends display area, as it were.
We had something like that even at the Carnegie. It was back by the fireplace.
Okay.
I don't think it got a lot of attention because it wasn't in a very good location. Once everything is kind of, the dust is settled, maybe we can discuss something like that again. God knows, I think we have shelves. We're going to.
We're looking at tying things more so that people will know about the bookstore, and at the bookstore, people will tie in with activities of the library more.
I do know that the high school is tied in with you guys because on their materials at the beginning of the year, they say, here's where you can get your audiobooks and get your online books. And it was all hooked in with our online
Yeah,
stuff.
we encouraged the high school a few years ago to start signing kids up for cards through this. I guess we've been do that in the fall.
Registration.
Yeah, register them for cards if they didn't have one. So that's great.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's really good.
They had a nice little handout when we were getting John's books, and then it's like, okay, this is the library, and here's how we've got
Good.
access to all these audiobooks
Yeah.
and online materials and whatnot.
Right. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
We're never quite sure because they don't always communicate with us. So that's great.
All right, thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I can
All right.
think of, so we will not be meeting
We
until
will not be meeting
November
until November the 8th.
the 8th. Okay.
That was decided before you got in here.
5 o'clock?
5
Yeah.
o'clock on the 8th.
Okay.
Oh, and then at some point,
The 8th. November. Oh, beg your pardon, 9th.
Okay.
Just looking at,
wow. At some point, we can probably start meeting over at the library, but since we want to film these things, I have to get that all figured out. But the community room is, set up for that, but yeah, we'll figure that out later.
And so you'll let us know what we can do for the grand opening? or-
Yeah.
Okay.
I will.
All right. So with that in mind, we'll gavel this out at 6:05 PM.
Great.